This guy's still rolling. He joins us on the Ring Central hotline right now. Purdue, the Boilermakers, got a couple of wins already. Up next, Kansas, and we're joined by Matt Painter, their head coach. Ring Central providing easy-to-use cloud phone solutions for workforce and business communications made simple. For more information, go to ringcentral.com. Coach, Tiki and Tierney, how are you? And congrats. What's happening, buddy?
Good, good. Appreciate you guys having me on. Just obviously getting back to campus and watching a lot of film, getting ready for practice today.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously, as we said, Kansas is up. You dumped Vermont. You beat Iowa State. Coach, listen, I would imagine that aside from seeing great tenacity on defense and great integrity within the locker room, the thing that's got to make a coach most proud is sharing the rock. And one of the stats that really jumped out to me out of all the games over the weekend was the fact that your team, on 31 buckets, had 27 assists, which is amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. We felt like the previous game, we didn't do a great job of that, and we need a better job of just moving the basketball. And we get rotations a lot because of our big guys, and so people double them or run somebody at them. And, we just try to keep it simple. If they're one-on-one, they're supposed to be aggressive and score, and if they get doubled, move the basketball. There's a lot of different things that can happen with it, but if you just share the basketball and play together, it's pretty fun, and it's harder to guard.
Coach, you look at the NCAA basketball landscape, and the conversation about conference is always ACC. I know it was big, obviously, this year, and ACC has underperformed significantly, as we all know. The SEC, because of the Kentuckys of the world. But the Big Ten you got three teams left still, Wisconsin, you guys, and Michigan. How come the Big Ten hasn't gotten the respect, at least this year?
Well, I think for us, when you look at the conferences, it's a little bit different because y'all don't have 10 teams anymore, and sometimes it's tough to gauge because now you might have a strong 4 or 5 or maybe a strong 10, and it goes back and forth, and how many games are in there that you absolutely should win when there's a lot of parity in college basketball. But when it gets to this point, it's matchups. I think in our league, they did that. Like, they put Wisconsin as an 8 seed. There's no way Wisconsin's an 8 seed.
No.
And you look at it and you take a step back and you think it's unfair to Wisconsin. And in reality, it's unfair to Villanova because they deserve to see somebody like Wisconsin in the Sweet 16, not in the round of 32. And so when it gets to that point, Louisville doesn't need to see Michigan. The committee wasn't watching the last 2 weeks of the season. They beat us. They beat us twice in the last 2 weeks of the season. They went 4 straight. And if you watch them play, they're not a 7 seed. There's no way they're a 7 seed. And you might look at their resume and say, okay, where's this and where's that? But there's got to be a little bit of feel there because Michigan's really good. And they're tough to match up to because they all can shoot. So when it comes down to it, I think if you have 3 or 4 teams that move on, it's going to make your conference look better if you don't. But it does come down to matchups. And sometimes those are even matchups, and you lose some of those, and you win some of those.
Yeah, we're talking to Purdue head coach Matt Painter. I'm happy you said that, Matt, because really, so many people that do what we do for a living on this side of the microphone, everybody gets on the air on Monday and complains about which teams got snubbed. Oh, they should have gotten it. I don't even care about that anymore. I'm more in tune with teams that are improperly seeded. You mentioned one. I think it adversely affected Wichita State. There's no way they should have been a 10 seed to play Kentucky. That's where the true injustice lies, I believe, more so than, a team that's the 70th best team based on all the metrics that didn't get an invite to the tournament. That, to me, that's the most egregious mistake that the committee seems to make, and it really impacts the tournament.
Yeah, and when you I don't know some of those schedules, but when you're a high major team and you play a lot of other high major teams that are especially in the tournament, it allows them to have a proper gauge. It just does. Now, when teams don't play a lot of NCAA tournament teams that are really good, but they didn't, I think that's the hard piece for the tournament selection committee. I think that's really hard. I think that's the hardest one there because how are you supposed to gauge how good they are when they're not playing NCAA teams? And I've been on that. I've been, in that position, and it's difficult. You try to load up non-conference and do the best you can, but nobody wants to play you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play Illinois State or Wichita State or Southern Illinois. I was in the Missouri Valley. They just don't. They laugh at you, hang up on you. They don't return your email. And rightfully so, because people are out there trying to do the best that they can to get a quality schedule too. And why play them? Go play somebody. Go play Arizona. Or go play Syracuse. Because when you get beat by them, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
When you get beat by somebody else, Now, it's really no big deal, too, because they're a quality opponent, but it doesn't look that way on the surface, and it especially doesn't look that way in recruiting circles.
I'm with you. It's a big problem within the NC2A. Talking to Matt Painter, head coach at Purdue. So you guys beat Vermont. You beat Iowa State. First time of the Sweet 16, I believe, 7 years, Matt. And you know what's amazing to me? And I don't know why, but I feel like you guys flew under the radar a bit this year in terms of at least national ranking. I know you challenge yourself early. You play the world champion, the champion Villanova Wildcats. You lose by a couple of points early. You know, you play Louisville, you lose, but it's a tight one. You lose in overtime to Minnesota. That's obviously conference, but you lose to them just when Minnesota started balling and they started getting their mojo going. I don't know why it seems like you guys never really quite got the national ranking or that true love that I thought you deserved. Did you feel that as the coach of your team?
Well, I thought we had opportunities. We didn't take advantage of them. You know, you had Villanova at home. We didn't win. You go to Louisville, we're off in the first half. We fight back in the second half, make it competitive, but we never really made it to where, you know, it was a possession game. And so those opportunities there you got to take advantage of. So when it happens, when you say that, you know, we had our opportunities. And, you know, we needed to win at least one of those games to help ourselves. And then we lost some road games that, you know, we're in position to win. We're up 9 at Iowa. We lose. You know, we have some really key, you know, possessions at the end of our Nebraska game, and we don't convert. And so we have those opportunities, and that's always good to educate your guys and say, hey, when this happens, and here's where you are, and here's what they're saying, and here's what's going on. They're right. You know, but we're still going to get in this tournament. We're still going to get opportunities, and we can do something about it. So, but no, we had a chance to really put ourselves in a great position, and we didn't. And but that's okay. You know, as long as you learn from those things, you can become a better team. It can actually help you.
You know, Coach, this is the first time in 7 years that you guys have gotten to the Sweet 16, and it's easy to sit here and ask the simple question, like, what are you telling your kids because you've been here before? What's the explanation? But I wonder if you think about the opportunity for you, obviously, as a coach. Kids come and they go, whether it's 2 or 3 years they're there. Sometimes nowadays in college basketball it's 1 year, but they cycle through. But the real success is meaning the Sweet 16s, the Elite Eights, the Final Fours. That hangs with you as a head coach on your resume. How do you approach this game against Kansas, which is the Sweet 16, obviously?
Well, we stay in the same process. We don't really change much in what we do, even though obviously it's a big stage, and you're going to play Kansas in Kansas City, and very good program. We played them in the NCAA tournament. I think 6 years ago, had a close game and got beat. But we don't really get away from anything that we do. You know, we stay the same. Obviously, they're difficult. A lot of what you struggle with Kansas, you know, you can't get figured out in the walkthrough. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, you got to be able to guard their athleticism, their quickness. They have a lot of versatile guys that can break you down off the dribble and go make plays. So our team defense is going to have to be important. But we're also going to have to not hurt ourselves. You know, we have to take good shots and take care of the basketball, because when they get in transition, they're going to get in transition. But if they get in transition a lot, you're normally in trouble.
Well, listen, there's no doubt we'll be watching roughly 9:40 Thursday Eastern p.m. against Kansas. It's been a really fun ride. It's been a terrific season so far. Coach, appreciate a couple of minutes. We know you're swamped, so thanks for carving out some time, man. Really appreciate it here on the show.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Good luck, Coach.
You got it. Matt Painter, Purdue, still going.